Welcome back to week 2 of 13's Cutting Room Floor. This week we're joining up with Terry as he heads to his new Illinois lease. We're also going to jump in Missouri with Taylor as she starts her phase 2. And if you haven't got enough of Terry by now, we're going to join back up with him in Missouri as he's after one of his target bucks called tuning fork. Just before phase 2, Terry kind of stumbled into a new lease over in Illinois. Let's check in with him as he prepares the land for prime buck-bopping territory.
Looks like the neighbors are cutting their beans. That's always encouraging. And I know a lot of them have already begun shelling corn. That's always encouraging because it cuts that bedroom in half. When they start getting those big, massive cornfields out, those deer have to find another alternate spot to go lay down. So if you've got the timber, usually that's a pretty good indicator you're going to start seeing some new deer show up on your Reconyx camera. Well, here we are. We're still in phase 2. We're on a little bit of a reconnaissance mission here today and looking at an alfalfa field, a first-time planting or a new spring planting. So usually that first-year planting is the best, where it's sucking the majority of the nutrients out of the soil. It's been hayed once, so they're not going to come in and cut it again. And there's a little bit of residual as far as foxtail and some weeds and what have you, but there's still a lot of new undergrowth. It's a long field, and I was debating on where to hang, and I think I've picked a tree. We more than likely will hang that walnut right there because it's exactly 40 yards across this opening. But I want to make sure that it's a shot that I have that's within bow range. I've got a great access trail right here as well. We're going to bank on the fact that they're going to be feeding forward, and hopefully we'll get an opportunity or get a shot, whether it be with the archery tackle or firearms. This looks like a really, really killer spot. I am about to hang a Reconyx camera down here on a piece. We're not going to be alarmed if we're not getting the pictures that we're expecting, because until they eliminate half this cover, you know, it takes a little while for those deer to get into the timber. But once they shell all the corn and they cut that bedroom in half, then things start to change. So we're kind of anxiously awaiting that, but it might be a couple weeks till that happens. So we're going to let our cameras do the work for us. Reconyx all the way. Well, I more than likely will be moving this Reconyx camera in about 2 weeks. This is somewhat of a reconnaissance mission, and I say that because the crops are vast right now, so there's really no concentration of sign in any one spot. You know, it's kind of a shot in the dark at this point. We're just going on structure, and the structure right here seems to be really, really good. Pretty fired up though. It's a big, big, expansive piece of property, and we're just trying to figure it out.
Awesome to watch the master at work. They should be killing giants in no time. And by they, I mean Terry and hopefully me. All right, it's time to head in with Taylor as she goes in after a Missouri buck the night after a heavy rainfall right there in Missouri.
Phase 2. Here we go. Thank you, Mother Nature.
Thank you, Mother Nature, for this 20-degree drop because it finally feels like hunting but we're at Turkeyfoot, or Wade and I are at Turkeyfoot. Dad and Scott are at the Western 80, and this is the same field that I killed my bow buck, the prayer buck, at last year. So let's hope that we can kick off phase 2 with a big thwack.
It always pumps us up to see just how much movement comes in when those cooler temperatures usher through. This night, it did not disappoint. Awesome stuff. All right, let's rejoin Old Man Winter as he heads into a muddy stand there in Missouri and goes after his target buck tuning fork.
Well, here we are, still in phase 2. You know, we've got a beautiful evening, got an east-southeast wind. We're going to a 3-acre field, and we've always had beans or corn or something there. We planted it in clover one year. But this year, we notched out a little biologic patch just right in front of our stand. So we're gonna try and give it a shot and see. Evening here this evening. Deercast predicts very, very good. So we're anxious to see what kind of movement we have. You know, Michael had went in, we got all the amount of fertilizer we needed. The biologic looks great, looks beautiful, and all of a sudden the bucks show up. Well, it's one thing to sit there and see some 1.5-year-old bucks or 2.5-year-old bucks, but all of a sudden when some of these more mature deer start coming out, rack bucks, they're walking through this beautiful, lush biologic field. I don't know that it gets much better as a hunter than to sit there and watch that occur. And on this particular evening, it couldn't have worked out any better. I mean, the bucks started coming out of the woodwork and some nice deer, really, really nice deer. We just had a fantastic evening overall.
While he didn't get to see his target buck, Terry did have some pretty awesome encounters right here in phase 2. That's it for us. Thanks for watching this edition of Cutting Room Floor, only on DoD TV.